Good morning, everybody. Well, it's a bit of a chilly one today, I can tell you. So I'm down at the barn. See if you can see that. There's a temperature gauge on the wall. We're looking at about 10 degrees. I think it's lying. It feels colder than that. So lots and lots to tell you. First of all, a little bit on the ramp. I'll show you that in a minute. That's coming along really, really nicely. But I've got some good news for you folks, and I've got some bad news for you. So let's head off outside. Oh, lovely bright day though. And to be honest, it's chilly, but it ain't that bad. So I'm going to just swap cameras around. I think I've got to stop and then restart because I want to show you what I'm looking at. Yep, it really is my nemesis. Right, it's a bloody Mitsubishi L200. So as you can see, I am so pissed off with the damn thing, I've shoved it into a nettle patch. Right, and that's where it's going to stay for a while. So what happened? Well, I took it down for MOT. I got a intermittent failure on the washers, pretty much it. And I thought, we're on to a winner here. It drove beautifully down there. Picked it up. And I thought, well, I can't really keep it at home. It is all taxed and insured and everything. I'll bring it back to the barn, a couple of other little jobs to do, and then she's up for sale. I didn't get very far. And then the damn thing clunked from the engine. It turns over, no fire. So that's it, right? I've spent a lot of time, a lot of money on this truck. Right now, it's going to sit there because I just haven't got any more love for it, right? I will obviously find out what's wrong with it, but I've no idea what I'm going to do. So there you go. That's the bad news. I'm going to turn the camera off and then I'm going to show you the good news. Right, so here's the good news. We decided a long time ago we were going to get a nice truck. So I have purchased a Hilux 3-litre 4-wheel drive, and I can tell you this is a good truck. All right, it's been well looked after. It drives nicely. It's the Invincible, which I believe is that's better. Which I believe is a reasonable spec. Cloth interior. I would have liked leather, but to be honest, having a good, reliable, robust truck means a lot more to me. So that's the good news. We've had the bad news. Let's see our continuation of projects. So, trailer. As you can see, all of the ramp supports are welded on. I've got to just weld that sheet, and I'm going to lift it up on the 2-post ramp and do the welding underneath. And here is the ramp. So where are we with this? 2 coats on this surface apart from the very end, which I only got 1 coat on, so I need to finish that end off. I need to flip it over and put the second coat on, and then we can fit the waffle boards, and that's at least this part of the fabrication done. When the waffle boards are on, I'm going to put some latches on here, so that as the ramp comes up, you can drop the latches in, and then we might have a triangulated support from here to the ramp as well, just to really brace it. Still quite a lot to do. The hinges there in raw steel, as I say, welding underneath, latches. I've got to work out where the lights are going to go because they will be on the back of the ramp, I think. Or maybe I'll make some outriggers and put the lamps on the side there, permanent. And then all the front end electrics. Some of the front I've put a second coat of paint on, so areas like this are fully coated. Maybe not that surface, but that. Some of the inside, you know, and I'm trying to get round to it, but I've got a lot of jobs on, and although I need this, basically once I put the fastenings on the back and a little bit of wiring on it, I can use it. And now I've got a truck that'll pull it, because obviously the BMW's gone. So, besides a load of junk, what else have we got on the bench? We have some cardboard boxes. And this is today's little job. All right, so I'm going to get you set up and then we'll make a start. Right, so one of the things I want to do for the Hilux is this. Tons of plastics, some tooling, some screws, a little screwdriver. Oh God, you just get so much. Box it out of the way. This is the bit we need to work on first. So, can any of you guess what I'm doing? This is a shiny black fascia. And in that shiny black fascia, we are going to mount this puppy. So this is an Android head unit for the truck. I believe that goes like that, and those little screws screw in. That looks good. Make sure I've got it the right way round. So when we bought the truck, the previous owner, or the guy I bought it from, should I say, was quite open and honest with me and said, look, the infotainment unit, whatever you want to call it, doesn't work. And it's quite a common problem that if you disconnect the battery for any length of time and you don't reboot the system properly, the Mitsubishi unit goes. The other thing is that it can be reprogrammed. When I say it goes, it just needs to be reset properly. It can be problematic, but nothing that you can't sort out with a bit of a YouTube search and job done. So, like the Mitsubishi, like the BMW, they're of that age where they don't have a high degree of connectivity. The sat-nav on the Toyota runs on a CD. You know, it's all old tech, and I'm just not bothered to mess around with old tech. So the idea is get this head unit in place. It's an Android unit. I can connect it to my phone. I can use Google Maps or just the map program I use, iPhone's own. GPS on it. It's got FM radio, AM radio, FM, DAB, all the stuff that you'd expect. It's just way, way better than messing around with the old system. And you know, I've got like a radio transmitter that Bluetooths to my phone, and then you have to be on a certain station on the radio, and if you're traveling around, you'll get somewhere and all of a sudden your Bluetooth, your hands-free goes, because the radio station locally is interfering with the station that you're transmitting in the unit. So it's just messy. These aren't cheap, but they're not massively expensive. And I think an important thing to note here is, although I bought this, it doesn't seem to be screwing in very well. Although I bought this truck, Wendy's going to use it probably more than me. I've always had my flash bikes, my cars, Wendy's always had lesser vehicles, and she deserves something nice. She likes it, and having all things like this just make it all the better. There's a couple of other jobs we'll need to do on the truck. The headlamps need polishing out. Not a huge problem. That's better, maybe. That was just being a pain in the bum for no good reason. It's going in for a service, new cam belt, because I didn't get a great deal of history with it. Yeah, that feels a lot better. And we intend to keep this one. So obviously one thing I don't want to do is scratch up this front. Just as another side note, I'm going to keep the Golf, Wendy's Golf, for a while. Good, reliable, cheap transport. We've had it a long time, we know the car, it's sound. The two things on the Golf that we'll be looking at: one, replacing the two front wings and getting those resprayed. That's quite a common problem on the Golf. The inner liner in the wheel arch rubs the paint off and then they rust, and this is typically what's happened to ours. But I had a chat with a friend of mine who's a bodywork guy, and it's a really cheap fix. He said, no, don't bother spraying it, it'll only go again. I'll put some new wings on it, they're cheap, blah blah blah. So it's got 2 new wings and a respray. The other thing is, in the dash as an LCD, an LCD, and that goes. Just found out, 55 quid for a replacement. It would just be nice to do. It's annoying that after 10 minutes of driving you can't see, you know, silly things like your clock. Oh gee, this will have one on now. So I've got a load of stuff. There are some more bits. Let's have a look at those. Because this kit covers a variety of internal styles, if you like, and ages. So that, or that, not sure which one, fits my car. Definitely not that one. There's a sticker that fits over that lot. Oh, I've got 2 of those. Is there any difference? Cutouts for the LEDs. How minutely small was that? Okay, we'll see what we come back with. We won't do that just yet. Actually, I'll go and compare it with the car. I think it's this one with the plastic over it, because it looks like that all needs to clip in, and it would be better to do it before I transfer the wiring and the pods on. So I'll take this and compare it, and then when I come back we'll fit it and we'll get stuff done. Now, what also came with this kit, besides all of that, is a car reversing camera. That plugs into this unit. And what else did I get? And a microphone for the hands-free. We'll have to figure out where that goes. Also, there are things like GPS, goes on there. And I think there's a whole host of like auxiliary USBs. Now, we're quite lucky, we've got 2 cigarette lighters quite close by. neither of us smoke, so you know they'll have USB chargers in, so there's a couple of ports on each side. So we don't really need them off the head unit for charging, but it might be worth having them for connectivity, because then we can plug in USB flash drive. And whilst I remember, USB flash drive, complete workshop manual for the truck. Right, I'm going to go and have a look at this, and then I'm going to come back to you. Okay, as you might be able to hear, there's I believe something like a tree shredder or something operating in the background. You know, sorry about that, folks, but that's the way it is. So let me just take out some of these items. So what we've got is we've got this piece here, and this is what we're going to remove. These knobs pull off. So I did check this out on YouTube last night, and this really looks to be quite simple. So what I should be able to do is get in here, and this should just pull out, but come on. Okay. Yeah, I've got my hand caught in there. That's the only trouble when it's cold. Come on, that's it. Now obviously we've got some switches. Looks like that screw is the culprit. I should have really realised that. I've got a feeling because the guy who I watched last night had a third-party stereo in his truck. Maybe they didn't put that screw in, so he wasn't aware of it. Right, so we've got a screw does come out, even though I didn't want to. We've got a couple of switches here. Now the other thing he did say, and I hope it's true, is that it's always a bit awkward on some of these to figure out how they plug in. Is that, let's say that's that. Come on. Oh, that's got it. Right, so that's me fascia. I'm going to take that back to the bench and just check out, because I might need to remove some bits off. Now, by the looks, to get the stereo out, you've got 10, 10, 10 and 10. And then that should kind of all pull out. It does look as simple as that. So I'm going to go and get some 10mm gear, and I'm just going to turn you off in between. Right guys, so next job, let's get the old stereo out. Just stack all these off. I'm not a great lover, to be honest with you, of doing this kind of job. A, I wouldn't want to damage anything. B, it's always cramped and awkward. And 3, I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. I'm making it up as I go along. there again, I think we're all like that. Well, all the kind of people who are going to tackle a job like this are usually like that. Very few of us are experts in the fields we tackle. Right, that's 4 bolts out. So I'm guessing I should just be able to pull this forward gently and get to the wiring. God blimey, it's a whopper. Okay, so how do I get the wires out? Because everything's a bit tight and yeah. 1. That's the aerial connection, is it? I don't know how that, where that is. Oh, yes. Now the other thing is the clock and everything's gone off. So I'm guessing this drove all of that. Well, I can tell you this, it's a big, heavy, doubled-in lump of stuff. The other thing I see is, I was saying about those yellow clips, looks like they're missing. So I'm kind of guessing that not all of the clips were in the dash. i.e. this thing's been apart before. Right, so anyway, stereo out. What does it say? 12 volt, 4 ohm. There's a lot of connections, most of which don't seem to be used. Okay, that's that. I'm not going to say I'm going to miss it because I'm not. So next thing, wiring. Let's have a look at this wiring loom thing. So this, now from what the guy said, oh, it's really easy, you just connect it all back up, you can't get it wrong, everything has a plug and it's all going to be happy. But that one, for instance, doesn't have a plug, and I'm guessing that oh, I don't know what that is, a little square thing. Could be sat nav, GPS, right, okay, so we don't need that anyway. Why does half of this look like it doesn't have a home? Let's look at the ones that do. So I can't get that one wrong. These two disappear somewhere into the glove box. Yeah, I don't know what they are. There's this one. That looks fairly simple. So what am I left with? That's an RF connector. So that's going to be the old GPS, I reckon. I have no idea what this little plug is for. None whatsoever. But there is definitely not as such a place in here to connect it to. That looks to be the FM aerial, which I don't need because this has that. So I can maybe just take that off or just keep it out of the way. So that's those two. Right, so we're going to use external. Okay, so now we're getting to the point where I've got 2 more cables to plug in there, and we need to be fairly close. So first thing I'm going to do is untangle that from every other cable. Now we've got this one. What's this one? There's the cable already in the dash. Don't need it. So let's get that antenna untangled. Just making it worse, Mark. So where does that go? Oh yeah, that goes up top. That's the power lead. So first things first. consequences. It's just going to be a whole barrel of fun. Is it easier if I drop those and put that this way? I'm sure it's going to be easier that way, Mark. Yes, Mark, it's going to be so much easier. Why didn't I think of that before? Right, so first thing, power lead. Okay, that's clipped in. I don't smell burning. All joking aside. So apart from, let's try and get all these stray cables kind of looking as if they might consider staying in the dash. I've got to try and get this bugger somewhere. Where does that go? That goes in. So that goes there. I want to take it, use my head all the way around the back, and then plug that in, and then very gently, come on, I did say gently, I'm going to try and get that so that, right, should have done this first. So when I pulled the dash out, on the back of the dash are these little plastic clips. That's what clips everything together. I've got silicone on me now. There was 3 out of 6 fitted, so somebody's had the dash out before and not put the clips back in. So I'm going to have 1, 2 on the top. I'm going to have 1 on the bottom on driver's side, and then if the whole lot rattles like a proverbial bitch, I will buy with my own money some replacements. Right, so last thing, he says, wiping all the horrible silicone off his hand. Last thing to connect up are the 2 buttons. I think that might be a little bit awkward and done blind. Don't you there with a lot of that sort of stuff when you're working on cars. That's that one. I might have to come around the other side and I'll probably block your view. Let's see if I can see that one. Right, got it. Let's see if I can just get that back in, please. That's it. Right, I'm in most of this side. That's better. This is just a transit plastic. True tradition of modern manufacturing. That was protecting another layer of plastic. How lucky that we have so many layers of plastic. I'm taking a piss, really. No wonder fucking animals are dying. Right. Ho ho ho! I don't suppose AC will work. Hazards work. Another lovely bit of plastic there. Mind you, keeps everything in shape. Well, okay, so here lies the problem. Oh, radio. Oh, we've got the sound. Okay, probably not the loudest in the world, but who cares?